brothers and sisters of the sim racing community. Welcome to Sim Racing Live. As you probably guessed already, today's video is about the new Grid 2019 game from Codemasters. This review is brought to you from a sim racer's perspective who uses triple screens, VR and a wheel and pedals to play racing games or sims. All the gameplay shown was recorded from my triple screen setup using a Fanatec CSW wheelbase and Fanatec V3 pedals. But before we dive in, I just want to point out that triple screens have been used for over a decade now in racing sims. So why did the developers only think to make the user interface, or the GUI, wide enough for ultra-wide single monitors? Because as you can see here, it just cuts off and just looks stupid, which is a real shame, as apart from this, I found the whole user interface really quite good and easy to use. So, what does Codemasters bring to the table this time around? Well, on release we have 69 cars in 7 categories, from GT, Stock, Tuner, Touring, Formula J, Prototypes and Group 7 Specials. We also have 13 tracks with variations, bringing the total to over 80. We have a single player career mode, as well as a multiplayer and free play. So moving on, let's first talk about the graphics, which I personally feel is a mixed bag, especially where tracks are concerned, as all the real life tracks in the game look very convincing. But moving on to the city street circuits, it feels and looks like a different team of artists made these, as they look somewhat cartoony with oversaturated primary colours everywhere. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the city street graphics are poor, I just wish they had decided on one art style. There are fewer graphics options than previous Codemaster titles, and once again no true triple screen support or VR integration. Replays can be a little hit and miss affair too, as the depth of field effect that's used often puts your car out of focus, making it look a little sloppy. But hopefully this may get fixed in a patch. Moving on to the sound, well, if you've played any previous Grid games, you'll know it's not a strong point of the series. But I'm very pleased to say that this time around, you can hear the vast improvements that have been made, and they really do add to the experience. Next up, let's talk about the physics and force feedback. Well, let's not beat around the bush. Grid is a pure arcade game, so don't go expecting the same realism that you get in Assetto Corsa or R Factor 2. All the cars love to slide way too much to be a simulation for starters, not to mention the damage model appears to be very forgiving. There are no cold or hot tyres, and nor do they degrade over time or through driving style. That being said though, if you go into this game expecting arcade, then you won't be disappointed, and a lot of fun can be had. I personally think the force feedback has improved over the previous games, but again, this is an arcade racer first and foremost. But I do feel the wheel gave me enough feedback to still keep the car on the road and still have fun. Moving on, we'll talk about the game modes and gameplay. So firstly, we have the career mode, which to me just feels like a roster of cars and tracks, with no real story or overall feeling of progress. When a career race starts, you only get 2 options, which is qualify or go race, with no option to practice first. This made it somewhat difficult, and I struggled to get a good grid position, as I was unfamiliar with some of the street layouts. Next, we have the multiplayer, which to me felt very limited, with either choosing quick match or private match as your only options. While I still had fun in the quick match lobby, I would like to have seen more options here. And lastly, there's a free-to-play option, which allows you to drive any car on any track and even create your own single-player event up to 5 tracks, which can be either an all-out race or a time attack. So, should you buy Grid 2019? Well, while this isn't a sim, I'm still actually having fun playing it. I do think this title only has a short lifespan as far as multiplayer goes, so if that's your thing, then waiting for a sale might not be the best thing in my opinion. In short, if you like arcade racing games, or like the previous series, then you'll most probably enjoy this one too. However, I am concerned about how many more tracks Codemasters will make available, because to me, it does feel a bit thin in the ground right now. If, however, you're a sim racing purist, then steer clear of this title completely. You won't be happy, and you'll end up crying yourself to sleep every night. Well, that about wraps things up. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, why not consider subscribing to the channel and giving it a thumbs up. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate, drop them in the box below and I'll do my best to answer them. So that just leaves me to say thanks for watching, and until the next time, bye bye.